Hello and welcome back. I hope you've done some practice on this. Today we're going to look at the next section, which is towards the final of this aria. And this is actually my favorite section because every time when I play this in a recital, this will be my solo moment because the chorus is actually not singing when a singer is singing in a recital. So it will be my time to show the orchestra playing skills that I have and what I actually do for making this sounding as orchestral as possible. Okay, so again, let's look at the full score. So in the last lesson, we stopped just before this page. So here we have what seems like a very special kind of marking, al ponticello, for the violins. And the violins actually play tremolos on all these notes here, this way. And when we survey this, we can see that the winds all have very sustained kind of sounds going on this way as well. And moving on, when the singer comes in here. When the singer comes in, it's everybody is playing together with a very, very sustained sound towards this fermata, the pause. And again, at the pauses, we see that these two instruments are actually holding. So that is the cello and the double bass. Let's look at the opera reduction. Are they actually holding here? Yes, they are. So pay attention to that holds. Okay, let's talk about this section. We have mentioned that tremolos can be tricky when you are doing that at a higher range. Remember that example that we have? Instead of that, we do. So this one is actually kind of a similar situation because the violins are actually playing at this range. But the tricky thing is, the only things that are doing tremolo in the orchestra are the two violins. If we look at the full score, they are played an octave apart, right? The first violin is here, the second violin is here. They're playing an octave apart. So if we are doing a tremolo, we have to do like that. But as you know, the piano sometimes doesn't become very helpful to us when we are trying to imitate exactly what the orchestra is playing. This is a good example of it. So what happens here is that this is actually a very awkward figuration. On the piano, when we have tremolos like that over an octave, it is normally used for a more bravura, loud, climactic passages. Like, you know, in Beethoven, you always have things like this kind of thing going on. And to play this here, we are doing exactly the opposite. Instead of trying to use this figuration that is usually meant to be climactic, to be bravura on the piano, and making it sound as gentle as possible, why not we try to change things around and make it work? So we need to know first, what do we need? What we need here is a sustained sound that orchestra has, right? A sustained sound on top of the melody that is playing. So we need something that makes it sustained. And tremolo is a good thing, but if we only tremolo like how it says, it sounds like this. And it makes it very awkward for us as well. So my solution is putting the tremolo in the middle, and I'm actually tremolo a full chord. So let's figure out here. Here we have D major. This is my way of writing D major, a capital M. And always pay attention to the bass notes. See which notes are in the bass. And then here we have E minor. Correct? Here the chords are already written for us, so we just need to follow the chords. So what I do is this. Here I'm tremoloing this pay attention to the F sharp, the bass note, and it's still D major. So I'm still coming back to the tremolo of D major. And it goes down this way. So I'm just tremoloing this way. But also my right hand is trying to help a little bit in the middle, not the top. Yeah. So at this moment I'm doing this. So I don't do the top because it will be too prominent light. Okay, so I'm doing this. And notice here, I'm actually tremoloing the same thing as before. This way, but not. I'm doing that, and combining it with the left hand, it sounds very rich. And here, I'm still doing the melody with the right hand because I want still to have some sustained sound, because you know the singer is approaching a very climactic point and the very scary high B for the tenor in this aria. And this way as well. I'm coming back to the E minor. Cello and double bass holding. Notice what I'm doing here. This is when the singer is actually holding the very high note. And my right hand comes back to the middle of the keyboard and tremolo on the chord just to give more support. If I don't, it will sound like this. Which is not too bad, but if we can help more, I think the tenor will really appreciate it. And so on and so forth. So this is the solution that I have for this. What do you think? Do you think it is feasible? Do you think you want to still keep what is written and try to play it as soft as possible? Or you think that this way works really well? For me personally, I think this works really well. It gives me the nice cushion of sound, of support that I can give to the singer. And also it makes my playing more pleasant. And I can just focus on the sound, on the melody, instead of trying to do the tremolo on the top. It makes myself easier, and it also makes the sound better. So this is my solution for this. Just a side note, since we are approaching the very high note of this aria, you might have noticed that it doesn't really look like how you normally hear, right? You normally hear the singer just hold the high B as long as he possibly can and then moving on to the next note. But on the score, it is just a normal kind of rhythm. Right? As you can see right here. And this is a very normal occurrence in Puccini's operas. When you're approaching the high note, the singer will hold the high note, and what normally happens is just that. So you have a big fermata over that note. And when the conductor conducts the orchestra, he or she will do something like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 high note, and it's just holding there, and then he'll listen to the singer when he comes down to the next note, then the next bar. So that's what usually happens. And for the orchestra to sustain that very high note is very easy, right? Da, just like my voice, I can just sustain it without losing volume. But as we said, the piano decays in sound. So every time we have this kind of situation, it is best to just figure some kind of tremolos out, especially in the middle, because it provides the best support instead of just holding there and then the sound dies off and the singer doesn't get the support that he or she wants. So that's just a side note on the high notes in Puccini's opera. So I hope you can go and practice it and see what ways you come up with. Maybe you have a different solution to this problem that we have. Maybe you can come up with even a better version than mine, and then we can share about it. So I'll see you the next time. We're going to finish it off with the performance of the whole piece. I hope you can go and figure out this kind of tremolo situation and figure out a good solution for you. See you next time.